Good evening and welcome to another episode of your daily show Achievements. I'm your host Fatma Al-Hadri, and today I'm joined by my colleague Abdul Latif Al-Anizi, and we'll be taking you through this episode. Good evening, Abdul Latif.
Good evening, Fatma, and as my colleague said, we are your hosts and we will take you through this episode, so stay tuned after the support.
Art can be divided into many categories. Some define art as the expression of human creative skills and imagination, which is typically presented in a visual and sound form, such as painting, sculpture, acting, singing, music, and producing works, to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. Moreover, in art, there are types that define as major arts, and others as minor art. The three major types of art are painting, sculpture, and architecture. Hence, minor arts are referring to commercial or decorative style art. In our lives today, art has a great impact on each one of us, and we usually practice it every day without noticing. Art is very important because it can communicate information, shape our everyday lives, make a social statement, and be enjoyed for aesthetic beauty. Another major type of art is music. Music is a vocal or instrumental sound combined in such way as to produce beauty of form, harmony, and expression of emotion. Music holds a very important role in our lives. It has the ability to deeply affect mental states and raise our mood. When we need it, it gives us energy and motivation. When we are worried, it can soothe us and encourage us. In other cases, when we are feeling defeated, it can surely re-inspire us. Music is also very powerful and beneficial to the society. It is strong enough to let us connect and influences us in a way that makes us feel fundamentally different from other forms of communication. Many of us might feel that no one understands the feeling a person is going through, except music, because it has the ability to connect with oneself. Moreover, after being able to connect with music, a human can express themselves and find a sense of understanding among peers. Art does not only stop there, it includes many more types. Another major type of art is painting. Painting is the action or skill of using painting, either in a picture or as a decoration. The purpose of painting can be used to communicate ideas and thoughts. It can be used as a tool for self-expression, as a form of therapy, or even as a means to find beauty in life. The art of painting also captures a moment in time, historical events, social ideas, and concepts including political or social commentary. Other than painting can be used as a form of therapy, it has many benefits to the human being. For instance, painting develops our creativity and supports emotional well-being. It also builds our problem-solving skills and improves our memory and concentration. Moreover, painting can develop communication skills and relieve stress while also allow us to practice mindfulness through painting.
Welcome back, our viewers. Tonight we're having with us a special guest. She is known as an artist. She has already achieved a lot and participated in lots of galleries. Tonight we're going to learn more about her, so please welcome with us the artist Masouma Hassan. Welcome, Masouma, and thank you for being here with us at Achievements.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure, of course. We'd like to know more about your early steps, Masouma. Can you tell us about it, how it started?
So I've always been interested in art ever since I was a child, and throughout the years when I went to my new school, I was introduced to different types of art. And that's when my knowledge of art, my artistic knowledge expanded, and I loved it.
So how old are you when you first began painting or drawing or working with materials in general?
So when I really first started this, I was about 10, 11 years old, when I was in year 6, year 7. That's when it really
That's
comes
too
in.
early and good, actually, to find yourself and find the passion that you want to work on.
Of course.
Which is good, yeah. So can you tell us about your home background and how it's affected you to become what you are today?
So my family really isn't interested in art. So it really isn't their specialty. So I'd be the first one to do this. However, my sister now, she seems very interested in it. So I'm very excited to see where she goes with it. And hopefully she does something big.
Of course, I think this is very interesting. You're the first one who actually started becoming more interested into arts. So what really made you choose this line to walk in? As you mentioned, you began in the 6th grade. So what was it for you that you chose arts?
For me, it's how free I can be. I don't have to abide with any rules in art. My mistakes could be art. The process of learning teaches me, and how flexible I can be with art. There's different forms of art. If I wasn't good at one, I could be good at another. So that I really like that.
There are too many types of art. I mean, you can find, if you want to look up to just painting, there are I think more than 100 types.
Different
of
techniques,
types of
different
painting.
ways to paint, materials, oil painting, acrylic.
Yeah.
And for you, you work with mixed art,
Yeah.
right? So what can you tell us more about it, the work that you do?
So for me, I prefer using clay. I use a lot of stuff, but for me, I like using clay because I think clay is very flexible. You can make anything really from it. You can make sculptures, ceramics, pottery, and yeah.
Do you think that if you choose something about, except the clay, maybe drawing and maybe painting and try to mix it up?
For me, drawing and painting isn't really my thing. I find it very difficult to
Why?
do. I don't know, I've never been good at
Do you
painting.
feel more flexible working with your hands?
Yeah, for me, I've tried painting before. I can use acrylic painting, but blending and oil painting really isn't.
It can be hard because I think even like the drying process for the painting can take a while.
Yeah.
And you have to be in the right mood for it.
Exactly.
I think maybe in the future, do you think like maybe you will take up painting, learn a little bit about it?
I probably would like painting classes or even drawing classes if I had the time and I had the motivation to do so. Then I probably would.
But
So
I
you do
think
it.
like even like with the pottery classes and even
Yeah.
with the clay, I think it's very interesting. Like you build something with your own hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a vase,
It's
a
actually
cup.
looks better when you see
It's
it.
fun
It's
to
better
do.
for the eyes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean we've seen paintings. I mean, hundreds of years we've seen paintings, also the clay work. But in the last few years, we've been seeing actually different types of art with the clays.
Yeah.
I mean,
Of course.
yeah.
And even her painting is different because it's mixed materials,
Yeah. Exactly.
which is very interesting. So can you tell us a little bit about the painting that we have today?
So the theme for this painting was actually reflection. So when I first thought of reflection, I had many different ideas in my mind. So one of them was reflecting colors on the wall and taking pictures at different angles, and also stained glass and how like it reflects by the sun. So I tried to put them all together. So the first thing I did was reflect glass bottles, different colored glass bottles, and take pictures of them. And then I did some foil, crumbled some foil and reflected light on them and took pictures. And the last thing was I took acrylic, so glass acrylic, and I painted on it. And like the same thing, I reflected it on a wall and then took pictures. So then I incorporated all of them together. I used the foil as the glass bottles and the shadow of the bottles as the glass painting. And I used oil pastels as well to color it in.
How
I
long did
think,
it take you?
yeah, it looks like a very long process. It took you, I think, maybe a lot of time, a lot of effort
Yeah.
into this painting.
Just the process. Just
Yeah.
talking about the process, it's taken a long time.
Yeah,
I
the
think.
thing with art is when you, as a mistake I usually make, whenever I want to start a new project, I always think of my final project, my final product at first. But then my teacher is always there to tell me that art is a process and you need to develop your work. So the first thing that you do is like write up all your ideas, develop it, do this, do that, and then put them all together to have your final piece.
Of course, so you just work on it step by step as
Yeah.
long as it takes, but the end result is what is most
Yeah,
important.
exactly.
Which
That's
it is.
true.
So can you tell us when was your first artwork?
So I'd say my first artwork was probably when I was a child in kindergarten and I showed my parents my first painting or something.
Do you remember what you painted at the time?
It was probably like the sun and the house and trees.
Oh yeah, I couldn't pass this level actually. I mean, I tried to paint it, and until this day, what I make is a little box with two wheels on it, seriously.
It
two
can be
wheels.
hard because you really
And have
need
the
a
sun.
mentor, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of different
I
techniques.
still draw my son in the corner of the page, so
I didn't pass at this level. I mean, I'm not good with art. So, but of course, I mean, you has to be good in art, right?
Of course.
In drawing, I mean.
drawing, no, I find it very difficult to draw. I can't.
Just working with mixed
Yeah,
materials.
with
So
mixed
this is like
materials.
your favorite type of art.
Yeah, so I use mixed media, so that's my favorite form of art.
Can you tell us more about mixed media?
So it's really anything, clay, sculptures, maybe like oil pastels, drawings. Drawings that, for example, for this drawing, I printed paper in black and white and then just colored on top of it.
Okay, so you can actually work with simple materials
Yes.
and make art out of it. Sometimes the process doesn't take a lot of time.
Yeah, something.
Okay, that's very interesting.
It is, it is. So, can you tell us about which type of art that you like, except clay? I mean, have you thought maybe of trying burning? There are burning also. Have you tried it burning with wood?
I haven't tried it.
Yes, that's interesting.
Yeah,
This is a different technique. Like
this
they
is
work
a new
with
one
art.
actually.
Yes.
Really?
It is a new one.
I'll do some research on that. But
Yeah, you have to do your research.
They
Yeah.
like usually, I think they sculpt the wood and then they start burning on it, like drawings, basically writing names.
carving as well.
Yes, that's true. So I think maybe this is like a different level. Maybe you need to be more equipped or
Yeah.
even
I
more
think it is
careful
easy.
when it comes to working with wood, and especially with burning.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really? Did
Yeah,
you
I think
try?
you need the protection goggles. You need a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
gears.
Carving
Yeah,
wood
the
is
safety
actually very
precautions.
hard.
Yes.
So, can you tell us who's your favorite artist that you love to see his work and enjoy it?
So for me, I don't really have a favorite artist. I like to look at different artists, look at their work, get inspired from it. But for now, I'd say if I had to choose, I'd choose Julian Watts. He's a contemporary artist and woodworker. I like that his work is new. It's very detailed, and yeah.
How did you know about him?
So I was doing some research about contemporary artists, and I found him. And as soon as I saw his work, I really liked it. He uses negative and positive space, and includes in his work.
So I think this is a very important thing. Like even when you search for artists, you can find like this kind of connection with the art,
Yeah.
the work that he does, the ideas that he has, what he represents as arts.
With the reason for his work as well.
Of course. We still have a lot more questions for you, Masouma, but dear viewers, we will take a short break and we'll be right back.
Masouma Abdelrahim is a painter. She's a young girl who loves to spend most of her time practicing her hobby. She's passionate and enjoys mixing colors to create her drawings and paintings. Masouma has found her passion in painting 3 years ago, and ever since, she's eager to challenge herself and learn more of what she can do through paint. On the other side, Masouma also enjoys spending her time in mixed media as it's one of her interests. Masouma enjoys accomplishing her paintings in a specific way. She loves to use colors and see the outcome of her paintings. She found herself in painting and enjoys creating new projects. Masouma has also been studying art for the past 3 years. She has learned new ways and techniques in order to achieve her paintings in the best way. Moreover, Masouma is eager to learn more and educate herself in the things she loves. Certainly, paintings has become one of Masouma's favorite hobbies. Since 2021 and until today, Masouma has been consistent in practicing her paintings and drawings. Keep up the good work, Masouma, and we're excited to see more of your paintings.
Welcome back, our viewers, as we continue our interview with our guest. So, Masouma, can you tell us when is your favorite time to do what you love?
For me, my favorite time to do what I love is usually when I'm free, which is usually at night. I feel like at night I've gathered as much information as I can from that day. I'm inspired by things around me, so I have the inspiration to do something. That's when I work mostly.
I think most of the artists, they prefer working at night, and this is the question like we
Why
ask
is
a lot
that?
of yeah, I think it's because of the quietness.
Yeah. the vibe around
Yes,
you.
I think a lot of people even like get their motivation at night.
Yeah.
So this is a very interesting
think-
thing. Why do they pick nighttime?
I mean, I think
It's
at
always
night
the same
you'll be-
answer.
Yeah, it will be late day, and at that time you'll be tired, exhausted, waking up from the morning, so you will be already tired. So how can you do such a work that needs some patience and need a little bit of time and needs some focus? So how can you do it while you are waking from the morning?
For me, because I have little sisters, they're always around me. So when at night, when they're asleep, it's the quietest time. So
Perfect
Okay.
time for you to
yeah,
work.
perfect time to work. No one's
Mixing with your materials,
exactly.
messing around with your tools.
No one's
It can
asking
be
me
very
questions.
difficult. Yes.
Put music in the background so you can have also better ideas. Yeah, so this is actually interesting because for me, I get creative at noon and at the morning sometimes because I just woke up, taking a shower.
You have a lot of energy.
Yeah, yeah. So at that time, I will be in my 100% potential, my brain potential.
That's because we work a little bit late for us, but I think because she has school or a lot of different activities during the day, so it can be very hard for her to work at that time.
Yeah, good, because you will be focusing at school, which is more important, audio viewers. So who is Masuma's biggest fan?
I'd say my biggest fan is actually my teacher, Mr. John, and my classmates as well. Whenever I have a new idea, I know where to go to share my ideas, and I know that if I did have an idea, they'd give me constructive criticism. They're always there to listen to me, and they value my work. So
I think that's very important to have, specifically like sometimes, you know, when you're working with the materials, like you have trouble finishing the work.
Exactly.
So sometimes it's very good to have someone around who can just point out, like you can just add this here, or you can just adjust this material over there. So it's very important to have a supporting system. And I think you do have a very strong supporting system with your father, and he's with us right here in the studios filming, and I think it's just important to have that kind of support from family
That's really
as well.
good, actually. Yeah. So also, but since you had some of the support from your teacher helping you with the materials, do you plan maybe to become a teacher, an art teacher in school maybe?
I don't think so. For me, I'm looking for more of a scientific career in university. But if I did have the chance and I felt like it was the right time to do something related to art, then I wouldn't refuse.
Oh, that's good.
So how do you think the support is when it comes to your family? Do you think you get enough support that you need?
they support me enough. Whenever I have a new project I'm starting and I go talk to them about it, they always seem very interested in it.
Of course.
Yeah.
So what makes you choose a scientific career when it comes to college and not arts?
For me, I think for example, I really like biology, so
You're really good at it. It's something
I
you're...
really like biology as well.
course.
So I'd rather do that, maybe because it's more.
It's more
You
you.
like biology?
Yeah, I do.
I think
why did you choose it?
I think it's interesting because sometimes you're really good at both things. So you can just study biology and just have arts as a hobby.
Yeah,
Something to
exactly.
do in your free time, something to get your mind out of things. So
They are
it's very
different,
nice.
and she can change the mood.
Yes,
actually,
she can
yeah.
just switch
Yeah.
between them.
And sometimes I like to use biology in art.
That's interesting. How do you do that?
So once I was doing hallucinations for one of my art projects about schizophrenia and stuff. So I used biology to learn more about the brain and how dreams affect the brain. So yeah.
And you incorporated it into the painting,
Yeah.
the work of art.
Yeah.
Of course, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I think this is how, like, most of them, the painters, they get really creative with their ideas because they have a specific thing they're interested in, and they just transfer it into their painting, make it more creative, more original.
This is the good connection. I mean, when you are trying to do something, when you have the passion about something, I mean, for the people who loves to watch football, of course, when they, in the case of the World Cup, a lot of people, a lot of artists choose their work for doing some paintings about the World Cup and the football. So there are connection between the things that you love and the things that you love to do.
Yeah.
So which is the good connection that you really, it is a good thing to do. So can you tell us about, have you thought about studying about art during workshops, like an online workshops?
Yeah, I'm actually planning on doing some when I have the time, when I have the motivation to do so as well, because I think it would be good for me to learn more about it, expand my knowledge, because art obviously is all around. It's very broad, it's very varied. So learning more about it, there's always something to learn.
Have you learned from before in the workshops?
I haven't been in any workshops yet,
Yeah.
but hopefully in the future.
What about during the COVID?
During COVID, I did art in school, online lessons with my teacher, obviously. So yeah, it was a very hard time to do art, obviously, because you don't really have all the supplies that you need. But it was good because then I learned more about photography. So yeah.
So did you even like participate or practice arts in any galleries or even in school events?
So sometimes our school holds competitions like poster competitions, designing competitions, and I've always tried to participate in as many as I can.
So how many do you think you participated in so far?
Because it's been like, I don't know,
lot?
7, 8 years, and I've tried to participate in as many as I can. And
Can you count them?
I think it's very hard because it's 7 years, you know, there's a lot of
Yeah.
different things that happen throughout the
Yeah.
year, especially
Every
even
year.
in school. I think they do like every few
Yeah.
months, so they have a lot of
They
different
do that, yeah.
participation.
And
So that's
sometimes-
quite a lot.
Yeah. Sometimes as well in class, they'd ask us for like book titles or something to design. I always like to, it was the thing I looked forward to every time.
Are you planning maybe in the future that you will participate in the open galleries, not in school?
Hopefully, maybe if I do something, then why not?
So can you tell us what's the most thing that you are passionate about except art? I mean, is there maybe a type of comics that you read or books that you planning maybe in the future that you will connect it both of your art?
I've done that actually because I'm very interested in Formula One
Okay.
race cars. So my teacher also always likes to incorporate that into my artwork. I have 2 artworks now that are related to Formula One. So yeah, he's always there to connect them together.
I think that's very interesting. So when it comes to sometimes like there's a mistake or something that you need to fix in your artwork, do you usually go to your teacher in that area so she
Yeah.
would guide you in the right direction?
Yeah, he would always, if I made a mistake and I feel like, oh, I can't do this anymore, he'd be like, we can fix this, Masama, we can do this, this and this. Art is all about mistakes. Because I always make mistakes, everyone makes mistakes.
Yes.
So he's always there to put me in my place and tell me, you can fix it by doing this. Or sometimes if I'm doing a project and I don't know where it's going and I feel like it's not
You're
going
stuck,
anywhere.
like what's
Yeah.
the next step?
Like I don't have the vision to see it. He's always there to tell me, I can be as honest as I want with him. He's always there to tell me, or maybe in a few days this is how it's gonna look. And then you'll feel more confident.
But as we see on the screen, you are doing the type of clay work that you have, right?
Yeah.
This is it. So we've seen like a few seconds ago, I think there was an artwork from you based on the Formula One.
Yeah.
It is wonderful.
The one in the
and
back, yeah.
So how did you get the idea?
So we had to choose, like, there were 5 words we had to choose from. So I chose the word dismantled. So at first I thought about athletes who ruined their careers or like something happened to them. So I was thinking about tennis, about ice skating first of all. But then my teacher came up to me and he was like, wasn't there a movie about this Formula One driver who was in an accident?
like this
Niki
one.
Lauda?
Yeah, Niki Lauda.
Yeah.
So
This is the
then
accident that he had.
Yeah. So then I was like,
Unfortunate.
oh yeah, he did have that. So then I worked on him. I used fabric and I transferred the image onto fabric. Then I sewed it all together to create a dismantled piece and like dismantle his face because like his face was dismantled. He had burn
Yes.
scars on his face.
So where do you usually do your work? Because I can see here, I think it's maybe in school. Where do you work usually? Is it like, do you have a specific workshop or all your work just happens to be at school?
So most of my work is at school, but I do some work at home like sometimes, or like on the side. But yeah, most of my work is at school.
And how do you manage your time usually? I think because it can be very hard, specifically like for students, to actually have this time management. So how do you manage your time with work, making projects, with your family, and school, studies?
So like in school, I obviously have lesson every single day with art, and sometimes I have my study periods. So some of them I'd go to the art gallery and I'd work on my work, or take my work and to our common room and work there with the help of my friends. Because art is a hobby for me, I only do it in my free time. So when I come back home, I study, and then at night, when I'm free, is where I
You work
do,
more on your
yeah,
project.
I do work.
So can you tell us about the obstacles that you had during your journey?
So I had many obstacles. So for example, when I was younger, I always thought that drawing and painting was all art was about. But then growing up and I expanded my knowledge on art, I found that if I wasn't good at one thing, I could be good at another. So that's when I discovered the other materials. Another obstacle would be that this year as well, there was so much pressure in my art. I was very close to dropping a subject. Then while I was making a decision in the art gallery, I looked around me and I said, do I really want to give this up now? Then I decided, no, I don't want to give this up. Because it's something that I enjoy doing. I don't do it because I'm forced to do it, but because I chose to do it.
You enjoy it.
Yeah.
Of course,
Actually,
and
if she drop the art, I think
she'll be back to it like in a few days.
In a matter of days.
Because we can see, like, even from the videos, you're using a lot of different materials, a lot of different tools. So where do you usually get these materials from? Do you have trouble sometimes getting them?
If I'm at school, everything's there really. And if I'm in need of something, I tell my teacher and then the school would provide it.
That's very nice.
Yeah, if I'm at home and I need something, I'll just go to any local bookstore and get
So it's not really a hard thing to find
Yeah.
the materials that you need.
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes, like for example, clay is very hard to find sometimes, especially a good quality clay. So always
It's
get
like
it from
the one
school.
that we see here.
Yeah.
It is hard to work on it, right?
I think maybe the process of drying as well, it
Yeah.
takes time.
Yeah. So like for this one, we just put it in the sun for like 2 hours and then
You can
Especially with the
continue
heat in
working.
Kuwait,
Yeah.
it will dry quickly.
Yeah, in a matter of few seconds if you drop it here in our sun, especially at 1 p.m. Believe me.
yeah.
700 degrees. So can you tell us also about how did you find the clay here? Do you have to order it from somewhere, or do you have like specific
So I
places
haven't
here?
really tried at home, but because it's always available at school, and every few months they get new batches. So
Of course, you get it from free from school, right?
Yeah.
Having the backup from school, it is something important.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about the best experience that you have during your journey? Something you will always remember.
So something I'd always remember is that, especially this year, because I was working with my project in the common room in school, I think I bonded with many people over my artwork. I started new friendships with people. I remember after my exhibition, I took pictures of my work, and my friend said that this brings us memories because that's where we first met and how we met, because they'd help me with stuff. We'd talk about my artwork, and I feel like that was a good experience. Another would be the exhibition that we had in school. Just seeing people look at my work and telling me it's really good makes me more confident in myself and proud of myself.
Of course, I think it's really good to get this kind of positive feedback on your work. It really encourages you to do more. So do you think that you achieved all your goals yet, or you still have a lot more goals to achieve?
I think there's many more goals. For me in art, I don't really see it as a goal. My only goal would be finishing my project, because for me starting a project is very easy, but finishing it is probably the most difficult part.
Of course.
But maybe in the future I'd have more goals, like keep on doing art. Hopefully that stays with me and that passion.
Hopefully it will.
Yeah.
I think because you're very passionate about it, you really like it, you enjoy it, and it's kind of like an outlet for you to get all your energy, your creativity into that work.
And try to keep this passion inside your heart. Don't do it all the time as something you have to do, because at that time you will get bored of it.
Yeah, you think like obligations sometimes when it comes to art, it can be a little bit pressuring, stressful. So when you do it on your free time, something just to enjoy, it can be really great.
Because otherwise you will lose the passion, and don't lose that, because it is important to have it. So can you tell us, if you go back in time, would you choose something else? Maybe let's say you will work on drawing or painting.
I don't think I would. I feel like these types of art that I've chosen, they've really helped me expand my knowledge. They've helped me find more artists that do different stuff, and every single time I do some research, I find someone new. I find a new type of art. Like when I was doing the wood, I was doing clay. I found out the artist Julian Watts and his woodwork. And I was really very happy about it because it's new and you don't really see this stuff now.
So you are satisfied with the decision that you made,
Yeah,
which is
very
the clay work and
Yeah.
So we're not going to see Masuma trying a different type of art anytime soon.
Maybe in the future, because I'm also interested in photography as well. I try to incorporate it in my work as well. So maybe in the future, I'll do more photography.
That's interesting. So you're into
Inshallah.
photography as well?
Yeah,
Of course.
especially if I travel or like
you like to take pictures of scenery, flowers.
yeah. Or like if I have an idea in mind or I see something and I want to copy it. So or I take
You
it
even
as
incorporate
inspiration.
your pictures into painting as well? Do you do that?
I've done that for the foil.
Yes.
I think it's the opposite thing is gonna happen. You're gonna
She's gonna
do
be a
some
photographer?
painting. Yeah, you're gonna be. You're going to do some clay work. You're going to do some wonderful art, and then you will take a more wonderful photo with, of course, your camera. I think this is a good connection with it. So after this lovely information that you gave us, unfortunately we reached our time. So do you have one last thing to say to our dear viewers or your family?
Well, thank you for having me today. I really enjoyed it.
You're welcome.
It's our pleasure to have you. We had so much fun. We learned so much about art and mixed materials and so much about you, Masuma. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. And of course, with that, our dear viewers, we reached our time. Hope you enjoyed this episode. See you tomorrow and goodbye.
Goodbye.